The Soulsborne's games are weird. You'll be carefully pacing yourself through tricky, trap-filled dungeons when another player has entered your game with the sole mission of murdering you. At least, that was the intention. However, without any mechanisms for communication outside of player emotes, the Souls community has developed a sort of etiquette for these encounters. Sure, plenty of people will still happily just start swinging at you the moment they see you, but in general, players are well-mannered. Most players will stand a distance from each other, trigger an emote to indicate that they're ready, and then begin. This is a courtesy. The invader is allowing the host to properly alter their gear from PvE to something more appropriate for PvP. Well, except for this guy. He just came at me and started punching me while I was mid-emoting. I'm happy to say I did get the last laugh on him, though. Screw you, Pan and Proud, have some class. Whilst playing through Bloodborne for the 50th or so time, I was surprised when an invader hopped into my game, Dracula Kerwin. My character was well above the PvP meta levels, so it's very unusual for me to get any sort of co-op action at this point. Having no interest in whatever high-level Bloodborne PvP looks like, upon beckoning me for combat, I simply sat before my invader, resigned to my fate. The invader seemed confused at first. He meandered about, not quite sure what to do. He transformed his weapon menacingly and approached me, but I remained seated firm. He hit me with a fully charged heavy attack, then two more, leaving me with a sliver of health. However, instead of finishing me off, he simply walked away. He gave me a salutation and I prayed in thanks as he fired off his blank, leaving me barely alive. Later on in that same playthrough in Murgo's loft, the bell-ringing woman showed up, resonated, and I was invaded by adversary Patches Mateo. I ran towards the lamppost and prepared to beg for my life again. The invader prayed before me. What followed was a series of emotes. He stood up and beckoned me, the universal Bloodborne language for "let's fight." I remained pathetically begging for my life. He seemed puzzled, meandering around for a bit. At this point, I was confident he wouldn't kill me, so I slowly stood up. Coincidentally, he sat right down as I stood up. Not wanting to seem aggressive, I immediately begged for my life again. After a dance of emotes, I stood up and slowly walked past him. He didn't attack me. We had successfully communicated peace using Bloodborne emotes. I progressed through the level with the invader at my side. He generally stayed out of the way, though at times he tried to body block enemies, which, while a nice gesture, more often than not accidentally caused me to lock onto him. He even tried fruitlessly attacking the enemies, which was cute, though ineffective. There was even this funny moment where I accidentally locked onto him while trying to target this pig, and he very quickly backstepped away. I suppose we still needed to build some trust between us. We split up when we reached Queen Yarnum. I ran to activate the shortcut elevator, whereas Patches Mateo ran somewhere off screen. I activated the shortcut elevator and proceeded to the final boss fight, Murgo's wet nurse. However, when I reached the top of the elevator, I saw that there would be one final obstacle, Patches Mateo. He stood menacingly at the top of the stairs, blocking my way to the boss fight. Knowing that our period of jolly cooperation was at its end, I saluted my adversary turned friend turned adversary. He bowed back, and combat began. I quickly pulled out my repeating pistol, loaded up some bone marrow ash, and blasted him in the face for 559 damage, nearly half his health. I loaded up more bone marrow ash and rushed him, just barely missing my follow-up shot as he healed himself. Dodging behind him, I activated the Shikage's blood mode and shredded him to pieces. Honorably, I saluted his fading corpse and finished the game.